Hey everyone, welcome back to Pine Hollow Auto Diagnostics. We're doing a call here to a local shop. They asked me to diagnose this 2014 Ford Explorer 3.5 V6. They said it's having a misfire problem. It runs rough apparently, especially under load. Okay, they also did a pre-scan and they found two codes for an oxygen sensor. The Bank 1 Sensor 1 air fuel ratio sensor. So apparently they replaced it. The problem is still here. So let's take a stab at this one. So then the story got more interesting. I got here and asked them, you guys replaced the Bank 1 Sensor 1 on the rear bank, right? That's Bank 1, and they're like, well, no, we did it on the front bank because we Googled that, that's Bank 1. Nope, so they replaced the wrong sensor, but okay. I said I'll still at least scan it, take it for a test drive, make sure the sensor is bad. Well, on scan data, the sensors looked absolutely beautiful, the fuel terms are beautiful, everything's great, but when you're going up a little grade and you're like a third of the way on the throttle, medium load, it starts bucking. You would swear it's a FISHBITE misfire. Classic worn spark plugs, but no misfire code set, nothing in OBD2 mode 6 data indicating that the computer detected misfires on any of the cylinders, and on the power balance test, that's a Ford specific test, smooth, even, no dropouts on any of the cylinders. But you're driving along and you swear it's just buck. As I was driving up kind of a long grade, I'm like, is there a pattern to this? And it seemed like there was a pattern, kind of like a little accelerate, decelerate, a little rough buck, accelerate, decelerate. Like, what are the chances that this problem is with the transmission? Namely the torque converter. Because on newer vehicles, the torque converter is commanded locked on in almost all the gears to save on fuel and at low RPMs, so the transmission doesn't slip excessively. So, okay, so let's take a look at the live data there, and there might be a bidirectional test we can do to 100% pinpoint that this is a transmission problem, not an engine problem, because it feels like seat of the pants FISHBITE misfire. I swear. So this is an interesting one. So to save some time, since I already did a half-hour test drive, here's the data that I plotted. So I wanted to see the current of the Bank 1 Sensor 1, Bank 2 Sensor 1. That's the air fuel ratio sensors. The currents look great. So the sensors are fine, but if it's set a code, then the sensors might be getting old. However, that doesn't explain our little bucking scenario. Transmission slip ratio. This is where we need to focus on. So you see, sometimes the graph is flat, and that's when the car is driving perfectly smooth. However, right here, under slight load, the torque converter is locked up, 1-to-1 ratio. But look at this, up and down, up and down, up and down. It's slipping, locking, slipping, locking, slipping, locking, over and over and over again, and you can really feel it. Each time it's like a buck or a jerk. Then you floor it and it smooths out because it unlocks the converter, to accelerate, and then locks it back in. So now I want to go into bidirectional controls and see if we can drive it around and command the torque converter unlocked all the time. If it drives perfectly smooth, then that'll be the diagnosis. Needs torque converter and probably a transmission fluid change. So we're in the PCM menu, Ford. Let's read the fault codes, make sure we didn't set any codes during our test drive. Beautiful, no codes at all. And then actuation test. We'll see what's available under the transmission menu. Alright, so here we go. Output state control of torque converter. So let's look at that while looking at this transmission slip data PID. Slip. There we go. Torque converter slip desired, actual slip ratio. Alright, And then we can see right here it says transmission control, and then we can unlock it, or we can lock it while we're driving. And obviously need to be moving. Alright, so we're standing still. You can see the slip ratio is 0 to 1, or 0 miles an hour. Let me start rolling. You'll see that ratio. When the torque converter is locked up, it'll go to 1. So we're just coasting, no problems. So let me get out on a flat stretch of road. We'll go up this grade, get it to buck, and then we'll hit the unlock button and see if the problem instantly disappears. Alright, it's bucking pretty bad going up this grade at 30 miles an hour. I'm going to hit unlock. Beautiful. No bucking. Then we'll hit lock. Yep, buck, 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 buck. Interesting. So we're done with this diagnosis. Logic and scan data on this one. Customer complaint was misfire. Nope, it's a transmission problem. So the torque converter, I'd say, probably needs to be replaced if some magic additive doesn't help it out. So pretty quick one, but just to get to that point, you know, test driving and looking at picking out the right data PIDs, and that takes some time. So obviously, you know, charge accordingly. That's it for this one. Thanks all for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.